Testing, testing. Check it, check it, check, check. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Hello and welcome to our first episode of Small Talk. Okay, Small Talk ni apa dia? Small Talk adalah siri podcast terbaru daripada kami di KinderKaizen Arau dan juga KinderBebe Arau. We'll talk more about what that means bagi mereka yang first time dengar nama tersebut. Nama saya Ms Islah, salah seorang daripada pengasas branch KinderKaizen Arau dan juga KinderBebe Arau. Saya bukan owner dia, nanti kita akan tahu siapa owner dia nanti, alright? And bersama-sama saya pada malam ini adalah dua co-host saya akan masukkan mereka sekarang, iaitu tada, tengok dia orang tu gitu. Okay, so we have Ms Feqa. Angkat tangan so that people know which one are you. Okay, from KinderBebe Arau, and Ms Islah from KinderKaizen Arau. Cakap sikit, bagi dengar suara.
Hi everybody.
Hi.
We're both super nervous, but let's give it a go.
It's okay, not awkward at all. Good job, guys. Good job. First episode. Good job.
First one.
Alright, so first episode, we talked about what topic should we tackle, kan? And we have a plan tau for the whole 2024. 12 episodes dah pun in the works, and this is our first episode, and we decided from our musyawarah kita nak pilih topik pasal the whole idea of kindergarten itself, the whole idea of tadika itself. And you know, kita taklah nak kata veteran sangat macam KinderKaizen Arau. Tahun ini adalah tahun ke-5 operasi di KinderKaizen pula, di Arau Perlis, dan KinderBebe tahun ini tahun kedua operasi di Arau Perlis. So we're still pretty new in terms of operation years, tetapi benda yang kita bawa ni sebenarnya benda yang agak tua dan lama, and we're going to talk about that, you know, sebab every single year, nak kata every batch of parents yang kita ada, we still have parents yang tanya soalan ni. Kat sini anak main je bila nak belajarnya? Bila nak baca, bila nak mengira, bila nak mengaji Quran? Main je Yang main je itu yang wanted to address. Like, is it that bad such that main sahaja cannot be the whole curriculum dalam tadika kita? Dan adakah kita ni membawa benda yang baru, macam satu benda bid'ah dalam dunia tadika sampai ke tahap yang nampak teruk tak kita ni kan, memberikan ruang untuk anak bermain sahaja? And then it turns out actually sedikit sejarah boleh ke Feqa dengan Islah kita mulakan sedikit sejarah right?
We're enjoying it.
kita start dengan something yang quite dry dulu before you go to the exciting part. So menurut sejarahnya, and we checked, and you guys can double check. Kita akan letakkan reference di ruangan description kat bawah nanti, okay? So we checked and we found out that kindergarten tadika sebenarnya adalah satu idea yang amat lama, dimulakan oleh seorang mamat nama Froebel ni. Okay, dia daripada Jerman, dan dia yang mula keluarkan perkataan kindergarten. Kindergarten tu perkataan Jerman. Kinder tu budak-budak. Siapa pernah makan Kinder Bueno tu, Kinder tu budak. Garden tu merujuk kepada garden. So idea yang dia nak cuba bawa adalah ini satu taman yang kita nak macam nak jadi gardener for kids. Kita nak flourish them, nak make sure mereka boleh tumbuh dan membesar dengan sihat, menghasilkan buah-buahan yang manis-manis untuk masyarakat di luar sana. So the idea is that pada zaman tersebut, this is like 18 something, like it's a long time ago, Mamat Froebel ni ada this idea. Budak-budak tak bermain. Budak-budak pada waktu tu sudah pun masuk bidang kerja, sudah pun have all this kind of like beban dekat kepala mereka, and dia rasa macam tak patut ni. Budak-budak tak patut macam ni. Budak-budak patut, you know, have fun, bermain. Ini kita cakap like budak 6 tahun ke bawah, kindergarten age. Mereka tak patut dibebani dengan masalah-masalah dunia yang adults face. And then dia propose the idea of having a kindergarten, satu taman di mana kanak-kanak datang dan bermain. So it's a very simple idea. Kanak-kanak datang, play around, joke around, play dekat tanah lah, macam kita dulu panjat pokok, turun pokok, masuk dalam longkang semua tu. They did all of that. And that became what kindergarten was in the beginning. And so bila kita cakap pasal KinderKaizen ataupun KinderBebe datang dengan this idea yang kanak-kanak ni kena main saja, orang kata kita bawa benda baru. Sebenarnya tidak. Kita bawa benda yang amat-amat lama, sungguhlah lama sampai kita boleh trace back kepada orang yang memulakan idea kindergarten tu sendiri. Itulah sejarah dia sikit banyak, okay? You boleh check. Mamak tu nama Froebel. Okay? So itulah idea yang kita bawa ni. Kita bukan buat benda baru. Kita buat benda lama yang orang dah lupa. Dan yang benda barunya dalam tadika ni adalah bila mana dalam tadika dah ada exam. Dalam tadika dah ada ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dalam tadika dah ada all this syllabus and all this academics and all these things. And kita ada 2 orang yang bersama kita hands on the ground witnessing budak-budak ni macam mana bila kita just let them play. And of course, parents akan nampak main saja. Apa yang Feqa, Islah, play leaders, play carers kita nampak, which is term yang kita gunakan untuk cikgu taska tadika kita lah. They see something different. So from like my point of view yang memulakan KinderKaizen Arau di Perlis ni, I saw this as an opportunity untuk nak just ada tempat untuk anak saya bermain waktu tu. Right, waktu tu Feqa tak ada lagi, Islah tak ada lagi. And just nak ada tempat anak bermain. It's such a simple idea, betul tak? Feqa, Islah. Such a simple idea. I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for a place where saya boleh hantar anak saya boleh berkawan, anak saya boleh bersosial, have fun, do kids things macam berlari-lari, panjat, bergaduh, berebut toys, all these things. That's it. That's all I ask for. And then I search around and all I see adalah tempat di mana budak kena duduk. Budak kena duduk for extended period of time. Okay, extended period of time. And then budak kena quote-unquote belajar. And I say quote-unquote for a reason. Because even scientifically ataupun ikut fitrah, that's not how kids belajar pun sebenarnya. And jadi tak selesa lah kan. How can I send my son kepada tempat macam tu knowing that that's not what fitrah dia nak? But because tak ada option waktu tu, hantar je lah dekat the best one that I could find out of all the options yang available. I'm not gonna say the name. Okay, nanti kita jadi skandal lah pula kan. Meletakkan tadika sekian. But I found what I thought was the best option at the time. Waktu tu KinderKaizen tak ada, KinderBebe tak ada, Islah pun tak lahir lagi. So di situ I decided, my wife and I both decided kita hantarlah kat sini. Why? Because we saw our son, memang dia nak bersosial. He's a social child. At the age of 2 pun dah nampak dah. Dia duduk asyik dengan pak dia sahaja, dia boring. Dia nakkan somebody around his size, around his age, nak bersosial. Bila keluar sahaja, always like tegur orang, nak bermain. Pergi playground sahaja, always trying to be with other kids. Nampaklah dia nak bersosial. And then, dia ada tagline dekat tadika tu, menyantuni fitrah anak. Kata, wah, bagus ni. Wah, kan? Good marketing. Okay, nice. Okay. And I tell to the principal waktu tu, saya ni nak hantar anak saya. Saya tak menekankan sangat lah. Bab dia kena akademik itu, akademik ini. Buat sini saya nak let my son play. Bagilah anak saya peluang untuk dia nak bersosial, bermain. Itu je saya nak. Right? And then what happened was the first few weeks, alright, okay. Nampak anak saya tu excited sebab dia pergi sebab nak kawan. And then, dah masuk bulan kedua, bulan ketiga, I start to see patterns. Patterns yang macam reluctance nak datang. Mula menangis-nangis di pagar tadika. Sampaikan, dia pegang baju saya tak nak pergi. I have to macam, you have to go. Papa has to work. At the time, saya ingatkan, okay lah. Because, I grew up like that. Mungkin rasa macam this is the process lah kot. Budak-budak kena, learn to, be okay with this tadika. fast forward, I just fast forward sahaja 3 years to a point where anak ni pada waktu ni dah umur 4, 5, verbal dah okay. And then when kita lalu tadika lama dia tu, lalu, and dia out of nowhere cakap, oh ni anti garang. Kata, ha? Tiba-tiba anti garang. I didn't like prompt him ke apa ke, tiba-tiba je lalu tadika dia kata anti garang. I think, what happened? Because waktu tu dia tak boleh nak cerita. So now dia cerita, dia kata rupa-rupanya, you know, on a daily basis dia dipaksa tidur. On a daily basis dia dipaksa tidur. And dia tak nak tidur, dia nak main. Tapi dia terpaksa tidur, dipaksa tidur. And what happens, you know, you as an adult, siapa-siapalah ayah ataupun ibu yang menonton ni kan, you as an adult, bila anak tak nak tidur, apa you rasa? Geram lah kan? Rasa geram lah kan? Anak kena tidur, aku nak berehat. So it becomes like this episode every single day where you kena garangkan diri you untuk nak paksa anak tu tidur. Walhal dia just nak bermain sahaja. That became this thing, and I start to realize macam, oh no, I did that. And that's one of the reason lah. Ada banyak sebenarnya. My wife and I decided, macam ni lah, tunggu orang buka KinderKaizen kat Perlis ni tah bila. Apa kata kita je yang buat. Apa kata kita je yang buat. Because before this, I thought adalah kot. Orang nak buka kan. Maybe Islah ke, Feqa ke kan. Yang tak lahir lagi tu. Maybe dia kot akan buat. But we waited for a year plus. Tak ada siapa yang even hinted on the idea yang maybe akan buka KinderKaizen di Perlis. So we decided, kita je lah buat. And that became the birth of KinderKaizen in Perlis. The first and only one still to this very day di Perlis. And from there, you know, Feqa can talk about this, Islah can talk about this. Kita expose ourselves to a lot of parents di Perlis yang rupa-rupanya have the same mindset, have the same experience, right? We have this story day in and day out. Parents kata macam, oh dulu anak dia macam ni. And bila datang ke di sini, oh this is what they need. So that's just from me lah. Sedikit sejarah pasal kindergarten, sedikit sejarah pasal KinderKaizen Arau. And then I just want to understand more from the perspective orang yang berada dalam KinderKaizen day in and day out. So, okay, Islah, Feqa. Okay, saya nak you setuju dengan saya, okay? Jangan lawan, okay? Jangan lawan, okay? So far, just kidding. What's your story lah kan? Bila kita cakap pasal kindergarten ni bermain saja, what has been your experience so far? 2 years in KinderBebe, 5 years in KinderKaizen. What have you seen?
Should I go first? You first? Yalah. Hey, come on. Baby first.
Berebut, orang-orang.
Kalau Feqa, bermain ni something yang very related to my childhood kan. So waktu awal-awal dulu, before this I pernah kerja, pernah ada pengalaman a little bit exposure about play tapi kat luar negara lah. So waktu tu terfikir macam kat Malaysia ada tak play ni? So waktu tu search jumpa KinderKaizen. Macam ada play school kat Malaysia lah.
Oh.
So
randomly searching and then you found KinderKaizen
waktu tu adalah keluar buku apa kenapa apa ada apa dengan tu. So keluar dekat feed. So waktu tu follow banyak ECE punya profile kan. So keluar dia macam ada kat Malaysia play school ni. So bila balik Malaysia cuba masuk, nak rasa je macam dia macam banyak mengingat kepada waktu kita kecil-kecil dulu and melihat anak outcome from that children sendiri. And bila kita keliling dengan anak-anak ni, somehow the more you learn about the children, the more you learn about yourself kan.
True.
So bila macam nampak banyak, mula macam tahu as teori je, okay bermain ni boleh boleh buat anak ni berfikir sendiri, berdikari, macam tu lah. So we know as a theory. So bila berada dalam padang tu sendiri, yang melihat anak tu sendiri buat benda tu, macam makin terbukti lah betul lah jalan benar macam tu.
Betul, betul.
Macam
I can
betul lah
I
ni.
can
So,
testify to that fact. Betul.
kan. So macam bila, and as adult, waktu tu I relate lah dengan waktu kecil-kecil dulu. We all had that. So macam tapi bila somehow satu fasa tu dia macam hilang tau, bila kita dah masuk dalam sistem masuk dalam sistem belajar, bila dah sibuk dengan
We got in
kerja
line lah.
ni, so macam benda tu dah lupa. So bila yang itulah yang buka mata macam lagi menguatkan Ms Feqa untuk teruskan, untuk advocate play ni.
It is true. I mean, you from a perspective of somebody yang practice ECE. ECE means Early Childhood Education. From perspective of a parent macam saya pula, terus terang lah saya cakap Feqa, Islah, awal-awal dulu, saya pun macam tak percaya, betul ke bermain sahaja you can prepare kids for sekolah and all these kind of things. So I was skeptical at first, to be honest, sebab kita tak dibesarkan dengan these ideas. Kita dibesarkan, kecil-kecil lagi, you kena hadap buku, duduk diam-diam dan juga membaca and kena trace apa ABC tu perfectly. Kalau keluar saja tolak markah and so on. We were raised that way, and I thought that's how it is lah kot. And then I just put faith in the data and the research yang saya jumpa tentang Froebel, tentang Jean Piaget, tentang Erik Erikson, all these names, orang yang dah berdekad-dekad lamanya sebelum bapa kita lahir lagi sudah pun buat research pasal bagaimana a child properly develop throughout life until adulthood, until lah pada akhir tua mereka, and then just put my trust in the process lah. Just biar je proses tu berjalan. And just look at how my son dengan bermain dia belajar membaca. I'm like, really? Never once like instruct him on how to read B-A-B-A, C-H-A, never once. Like really never once hantar dia kepada coach membaca, never once hantar dia tuition ke apa ke. He learns how to read because we made books approachable and fun. Because it's stories kan. Siapa tak suka stories? Kan? Kalau kita dengar ceramah masjid pun kita suka story. The story part is what makes us macam nak dengar lagi.
I think also the creativity.
Yeah, the creativity of it.
No, the curiosity.
Curiosity, yes, the curiosity of it. The curiosity of nak tahu story tu develop macam mana. So we have these storybooks. It's not new. Storybooks memang ada sejak azali lagi, but we don't introduce the books as storybooks to kids. We just introduce it as benda je you kena buat, kena habiskan, kena buat. But if you introduce it as stories, once upon a time ada karakter ni, ada karakter tu, you tickle their imagination, dia akan rasa macam buku ni interesting. Dia rasa nak buku. That happened to my son. And eventually dia sendiri akan mula tanya, ni apa dia papa, ni bunyi dia apa. Curiosity will lead to natural learning. Bila mana dia yang akan tanya kita, and that's the opportunity for you to just teach without any forcing. Dia akan serap masuk waktu tu, and eventually he learn how to read. I don't know how. I can tell you like exactly like waktu bila dia boleh daripada zero membaca kepada 100% membaca. But what I do know adalah somewhere in dalam brain dia tu, if you keep on telling like bedtime story, read aloud, baca buku ke anak, dia tengok bapa dia baca buku, and somehow throughout all this process they macam iklan susu tu lah, dia akan make connections dalam kepala eventually macam okay, macam ikut baca buku, sama juga macam menulis, sama juga macam mengira. All of this is within the context of play, right? So that happened to my son, and once that happened to my son, I'm like, okay, I believe. So daripada apa dalam Quran tu dia ada haqqul yaqin, ainul yaqin, ada satu lagi tak ingat. So ada levels of belief kan. So satu bila you just tengok data, but dua bila you witness the data comes to life, you macam this is it. But that happens as a parent. That's a process you can like, unlearn, I guess, of how things were, macam mana, how we used to do things, and tak semestinya benda tu, just because benda tu kita duk asyik buat selalu, doesn't make it right, you know. Sometimes kita kena check, apa kita buat selama ni betul ke tak? It's not wrong to ask that question, to check, to double check, nak tengok betul ke kita buat ni, right? And Islah, I know you pun ada your personal experience juga with your own like childhood and all that kan. You macam ada this episode of you sendiri pun check juga, apa aku lalui ni betul ke tak? And then you saw in the children age 4 to 6 tu kan, how they develop depan mata you, and you start to believe juga. So Islah, cuba bagi tahu macam mana you daripada dulu tak believe, sekarang sudah converted
What?
and become a part of us. Cik.
Wow.
Sorry pula.
Wow, rasa kena brainwash sekejap. No, I think where do I start? It's been 5 years. Okay, let's start. First, why KinderKaizen good? Let's start there, right? I came out just like any other undergraduate students, just looking out in life and cari, aku nak buat apa lepas ni? Macam tu lah. And I think when I think about career, kerjaya, nak kerja apa sebagainya, the first thing that I look into is who will I work with. Yeah, so waktu tu memang, I think I saw your tweet, Brother Iman, on Twitter, dan dia cakap cari siapa nak buka tadikan ni dekat sini ni. I think my first hook bukan KinderKaizen, specifically it's you, Brother Iman. So it's you looking for something and you willing to open it for your son. Dia macam, pernah ke?
This is like at the very, very, very beginning ni.
Very beginning, like really early on. And then fast forward, we met and discussed, and then you bring me to Ms Islah in KinderKaizen Citra, where you sent Ryan that year.
Oh yes.
Kan? And I saw KinderKaizen Citra macam, Ms
1 year.
Islah. So and then macam tengok, ni environment dia macam ni. And then after that we tried. I terus masuk lah. We really just bulldoze that year kan. Terus tak tempat apa-apa, pergi training, pop, buka KinderKaizen on 2020. I barely catch up really apa konsep KinderKaizen, but what I do know is that what you said, something about I just want to see my child happy. Atau waktu tu, simple je. Simple je calculation dia. Yeah, I just want to see my child happy. If he's happy, I'm happy. Oh really? Yeah. So sometimes I mean, after that I really look into when you really just walking the talk, like walk the talk kind of thing. Like what you say to me and to Ryan at that point, and everything that we discussed upon that is really just memang selari lah dan tak lari. What you said tu, kita nak ni kembali kepada fitrah, dan kita nak buat ni supaya anak-anak tu datang dan happy dan just have a childhood. Lepas tu pergi training, jumpa Dr. Putri for the first time, jumpa the team, and everything just fall into place, and we start our 2020 beautifully. Anak-anak masuk, and I think what most inspiring to me is look at the parents, just the parents. I mean, looking the
I remember
effort.
the first batch that we had.
We
had five.
Yes,
Five
five
kids in the
5 to
first year.
7. Yang first yang
Yeah,
masuk
5 to
workshop,
7.
Dr. Putri datang dekat Perlis first workshop dengan Dr. Putri
Exactly.
and everything. And the way, I think one of the most humbling moment is when I look at how you talk to the kids. Talk to Ryan at that time. Kan? Ryan is very determined child, high energy, always super demanding. Waktu tu, but you always, bend down to his eye level, talk to him, and say things yang macam bukan menyuruh Ryan buat benda, but instead just listening to him, helping him understand himself. And that really inspired me to be like, how do I do that? I tried. It doesn't work like that. Macam mana boleh buat? So I think
I am awesome. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
But just coming back to myself, and then I saw parents yang datang situ sebab cakap, saya datang ni sebab saya nak anak saya datang sekolah tak stress. Datang happy, bangun pagi mudah, dia all those little things that every day
I saw on KinderKaizen, and of course, after 5 years, there's so many things happen. PKP hits, and
Yeah, we
then
opened January 2020. We had to close March 2020.
yeah,
Like barely 3 months in,
mm-mm.
pandemic happens. But it's kind of like a blessing in disguise juga. Macam buat
True,
berbanding lagi, Islah
true.
was there with our first team member Asma at the time. It was a blessing in disguise because now we get to see the idea of play being really tested, right?
Yes,
So this concept of kata macam, oh, let this child play, let the child be a child, kan? Because pandemic hit, we can see a lot of children around the world are greatly affected by how difficult it is just to be quarantined in the home, stressed out, fearful, anxious about this virus that nobody can see. It's a very abstract problem that they has to face earlier on. We even have a term pandemic babies, babies who are born
mm,
in pandemic
yeah,
and grew up in pandemic. They have a certain traits that we can see in contohnya KinderBebe, kan, we can see them having a kind of anxiety that they don't have in baby pre-pandemic. So, and coming to your point, thank you. I mean, I know I joke around, but really, I don't get compliments that I don't apa nama I don't process compliments that well. I tend to convert compliments to jokes really really quickly. That's how I can just move forward. But
yeah.
uh, I think one of the turning points in my fatherhood process adalah when I sent my son to the normal kindergarten. Can I say normal kindergarten? Like typical kindergarten, okay? Typical kindergarten. And then I saw the day-to-day difficulty of sending him to that kindergarten. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, kena pukul ke? Like kena dera ke? I had that thought because I didn't know. Because on the outside you don't see, on the inside pun you don't see. Bila keluar report yang keluar adalah pasal academic achievements, right? Oh, anak encik sudah boleh baca surah ni, dah boleh ni. I had like maybe 3 or 4, I cannot remember lah. Report report sessions, like parent and teacher session tu, kan. And every single time they just show me like all these achievements, which
Mm.
I told the principal from the beginning, I don't quite, I mean, to be frank lah, I don't quite care about those things. Okay, I just want to know, is my child okay in this kindergarten? Dia ada kawan tak? I just want to ask that, dia ada kawan tak? Dia datang kat sini, dia main tak? Dia
Social.
interact tak? Dia bersocial tak? Yeah. I just want to do those things. That's what I want to know. So bila jumpa dengan teacher during the report session tu, I ask these questions, and they can't really give me a comprehensive answer because dia tak fokus kat situ. To be frank, dia tak fokus kat situ. Dia fokus nak isi dia punya KPI, nak make sure anak boleh baca, nak make sure anak boleh hafal surah sekian-sekian, which is great. I get it. But dia ada prerequisite tau. Prerequisite. I love how Ustaz Hasrizal like sum it up beautifully by saying that I mean, make sure manusia tu jadi manusia dulu sebelum jadi Muslim. It's like, okay, that's a good idea, right? Make sure jadi manusia dulu, barulah kita nak membina kemusliman diri dia tu. And from
Yep.
that experience when I realized, okay, when a child is telling you or showing you, sama ada through behavior, through like emotional outburst ke, something's wrong, you pay attention. I mean, it doesn't mean the child is always right, but it also doesn't mean the child is always ngada-ngada. So you have to pay attention and just see, like, why is my son acting this way? Because a child cannot speak macam kita speak, cannot
Mm.
explain macam kita explain, but they can act out, act out in a way yang menunjukkan, hey, daddy, I'm in trouble, look at me.
Yeah, the
This
SOS.
happen. It's a language though. It's a language that you kind of have to get used to. So from that on, I'm not saying I'm perfect ke apa ke, but I try to pay more attention lah. So when you see me in KinderKaizen waktu awal dulu, kan, I talk to Ryan apa semua, kan, it is from the experience lah. I never wanted to abaikan any signs of distress.
I
I
see.
just want, again, I'm not saying they're always right, but at the same time, I'm not saying when a child is like acting out, they're always just oh saja je tu, oh, saja saja, and all these things that we say.
Yeah, belittling, gaslighting, ataupun undermining.
Yes, like
Yeah.
yes. All those words that you just learned in the dictionary, Islah, great, great.
No, I mean I learned that macam mana masuk
Just
KinderKaizen
kidding,
tu
just
kan.
kidding. Yeah, great.
Antara benda yang I'm really macam in awe is actually how the kids, when we just, satu benda yang I had trouble first masuk KinderKaizen adalah pause. Like,
Mm,
tunggu. Let the process show you the way for you and the child. So nak pause tu. Bila nampak anak tu macam lompat macam tu kan, lepas tu dia macam terus buat sesuatu yang normally kita adult jump into our savior mood and just like do this
yeah,
way or don't.
it's still tough, Islah. It's still tough. My son is 9 this year. It's still tough. It's still tough. I think because they always evolve in how they push your buttons.
Yeah.
They always like the old tricks they tak buat dah. They learn new tricks now, right? So you have to pay attention to this new pattern pula. And then bila pattern ni dah hilang, this new pattern pula emerge. So there's not one phase where you boleh kata I figure out my child, I know what you need forever and ever, because they always grow. They always have this new thing that they develop. Maybe dia kaut daripada kawan-kawan ke apa, we don't know, we cannot control everything kan, but that's part of their growing up. Macam kita dululah, kita keluar kat playground, kita akan ambil all this like information from all these different walks of life, and kita akan bawa ke rumah, so parents kena deal with it, right? So that's the tough part about doing that, and also the tough part about nak advocating for play, because people think macam the solution to this is to teach them. Open this curriculum, teach them. Bagi dia orang duduk and belajar. But the kids learn through experience, and play is the experience. And speaking of advocating for play, do you guys know we have a special guest tonight? You know? Everybody know? Oh my God. Can we
Ching ching ching, drum rolls.
We have tonight Dr. Putri.
Alamak, segan saya. Woohoo.
Oh, besar sangat. Oh,
Alright.
how do I make Dr. Putri bigger? There
Oh,
you
This is
go.
cool. This is
Masya
cool.
Allah.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Alamak,
Ika
nanti dia
and
have to
Islah, you
share.
have to. Yeah, okay, good.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you, Dr. Putri, for
You're
joining. Dr. Putri
welcome.
asalnya not part of the program, but she volunteered kindly. Kita orang sonok sangat.
Yes.
I
Dr. Putri
requested.
requested. Yes. But we happily agreed and
Alhamdulillah.
we welcome you with open arms. And you
Thank
are
you.
the originator of
Oh,
KinderKaizen back in 2014,
yeah.
10 years ago, right? 10-year anniversary.
Yes. Alhamdulillah.
I mean, I just gave a short like story lah about how I decided untuk buka branch KinderKaizen dekat Arau Perlis. So thank you for allowing that to happen. But what about you? Because you don't have
Oh,
KinderKaizen, you started from scratch. At least for
yeah.
me, ada KinderKaizen just bawa ke sini je. But for you, you have to
Alhamdulillah.
go all over from scratch. So how was that to tell people about this play thing from the very beginning?
Belum cerita rasa dah berpeluh kot kan. 10 years ago, imagine. Okay, ceritanya to cut short lah kan. I think all of you know lah kan, yang mana yang belum tahu, okay saya share sedikit lah. I was in the UK for 7 years, 2005, baru berkahwin, 3 minggu fly. Okay, so the first three children, boys, were all born there. So sempatlah merasa sistem pendidikan, suara saya okey kan?
Oh, excellent. We can hear
Okay,
you very, very
Alhamdulillah.
well.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so duduk di sana 7 tahun. I started off with no scholarship pun. Pergi tu sebab abah pesan, belajarlah hidup susah di negara orang. So he sent me and my husband, EF, both ke sana. Of course, it wasn't easy for us sebab nak stable, nak kena kerja, no scholarship kan. Jadi kita nak gaul dengan orang yang ada scholarship pun kita segan because we have to work kan. Okay, tapi pergi sana sebulan dah mengandung. So husband tak bagi kerja, duduk diam-diam. So dia lah kerja floor engineer dan sebagainya lah. Okay. So duduk di sana kita didedahkan dalam sistem. Ramai orang yang duduk di sana tapi tak betul-betul duduk dalam sistem. Tak kisahlah negara luar, Aiman, you were in Canada semua tu kan, some of you kan. Okay, when you duduk negara orang, cuba duduk dalam sistem dia, then you will start to understand. So when I was there, I hear people saying they don't understand and they can't accept the system, the school system kat sana. Yang memang bermain, yang memang tak bawa buku. Tapi anak-anak memang nak pergi sekolah. Demam pun, I want to go to school. Farish patah tangan pun, it's okay mommy, I want to meet my friend. I miss them. I have to go to school. And he was only 4 at that time. So he was even taught to appreciate his religion, by Cikgu Mat Saleh. So orang kata cikgu orang putih ni yang bagi dia macam, no, you're a Muslim, Farish. You have to be a proud Muslim. Your friends are Christian. They are proud Christian. We have to respect each other. And I'm like, whoa, that is 4 years old. Cikgu dah macam tu. So how can I not respect people like this when they are able to respect, everybody kan, of different religion. So 7 years there, sitting in their system, Aiman, Islah and Feqa, it's not easy to orang kata, kita nak korek dan faham sistem mereka. But UK ni, dia dah letak all the curriculum, all the research and findings yang every year they update kan. It's all on the web. It's all on the web. You can just read it. You can just search and read. But kita yang duduk dalam sistem, saya ambil peluang tu untuk duduk dalam classroom. Let's just watch and see. You don't just see Montessori. You don't just see play. You don't just see Froebel. You don't just see Waldorf. You see everything. Everything in one classroom.
Integrated beautifully,
Exactly. It's integrated but not academic. And it's beautiful. Anak saya tak pernah pun belajar ABC 1, 2, 3. Tapi dia tiba-tiba boleh baca. So the same thing yang cuba saya bawa ke Malaysia yang mana normal lah. Bila orang tak biasa, dia akan menentang dahulu. Kita faham benda tu, no problem. Alhamdulillah lah, saya pun setelah 10 tahun dah matang sedikit. Kuranglah reaktif kalau nak marah tu kan. Kita kurang sikit lah, like boleh senyum, no problem. So bila you all sembang tadi, saya senyum je kat belakang ni. I was so happy. Okay, so tak adalah reaktif macam dulu, like betul-betul, passionate kan. Okay, memang passion lagi tetapi better lah at telling things, sharing things. So bila nak cerita dengan orang, ramai je yang tolak. Ramai yang kata, Dr. Pucik won't work in Malaysia. It won't. Because this is a different country. The culture is different. But this is where I challenge myself. When kita nak create sesuatu, you have to look from different angle. Betul, bukan senang. Aiman yang buka dekat Perlis, yang orang tak tahu apa-apa ni, macam mana nak sedarkan orang untuk buka mata? Betul tak Feqa dengan Islah? It's not easy kan? Okay. Kan, bila nak bercerita, bila saya nak buat sekolah ni, nak buat tadika ni, saya kena ambil kira semua aspek culture kita yang berbeza. Sesuai tak dengan play yang kita nak kena create? Memang tak samalah play ni dengan play dekat UK. But the beautiful thing is, kalau saya boleh share, masa saya pergi Canada for that International Play Association Conference 2017, me, Najmi, Miss Yasmin, Batu Pahat, we went there. We all itulah masa tu tak tahu kan. Akan datang, insyaAllah kita ajak ramai-ramai pergi. Okay, but it was beautiful. There's 700 of people from 40 different countries talking the same language about play. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm like, wow, this is just amazing. Baru rasa macam at par tak dengan semua orang. So bila kita berkongsi, kita cerita kita punya progress. Mereka cerita findings mereka. Kita berjumpa di satu titik. Maksudnya saya tak ke belakang, saya tak ketinggalan. I'm at par with them. Tapi bila kita balik Malaysia memang lain lah. Malaysia punya perception on play is different. Memang jauh gap dia. So the work of advocacy we'll still need to continue and continue because kita tahu nak ubah sebuah kaum tu take 40 years, and then another 40 years to settle down, to just get people to just settle down with it, with the idea, and after that 80 years baru kita boleh bernafas. Tapi itu pun kalau kita ada that 80 years, we are only at our 10th year. Sebab sedikit.
Pak Ustaz.
Oh, over
But
to you.
after 10 years, I still remember tau. Ryan masih lagi merangkak waktu tu. You came to Penang.
Yes.
This is like my wife and I rajin Google lah waktu tu. Anak kecil kita baru jadi parents yang fresh kan. So kita banyak lah nak baca buku, nak tu. Okay, what's the best for my child apa semua. Because we learn earlier on yang just because I mean with all due respect kepada orang tua-tua kita, bukan kita nak kata kita macam rebel sangat, but not everything they do is correct. And I say that humbly lah because we want the best for our child. And I remember ini Ryan kecil lagi, baby punya kecil.
Dia dengan stroller lagi masa tu.
Dia lahir baby age less than 1 year. Okay, so this is the story. This is how I learn yang just because orang cakap bagi nasihat about your child doesn't mean you automatically agree. So, my child lahir and then again, new father, a guy, I don't know about babies, I learn as I go. And orang tua cakap bila baby tu, you dah habis mandikan dia, you ikat perut dia. Macam ada barut, they call it barut, macam korset untuk baby. Right?
Betul.
So ikat supaya tak angin. Alright. So saya buatlah ikat supaya tak angin. And then dia asyik muntah je. I mean, always macam bila breastfeed muntah. Kata apa masalah dia ni? So I went to the doctor. Ajak wife, kita kena pergi duduk doktor ni. It's not normal kan. Takkan dia dah asyik muntah je. And then doktor tengok anak, and dia letak atas katil, dia nak tengok perut macam mana, dia nak check perut kan. Dia buka baju anak saya, dia tengok ada barut tu, dia kata, "What are you doing? You're torturing your child." Okay, that's how I remember lah. I don't think I don't think he yelled at me, but I kind of like recall it as yelling lah. Macam nak kata, you ibarat macam mendera anak. It's like you don't do this because ini yang menyebabkan susu tu naik balik. And it turns out my son had what they call acid reflux. Dia punya like dalam perut tu ada pintu tu tak cukup matang lagi, so susu masuk because kita duk tekan perut dia, dia naik balik. So dia muntah. And after that, no more tak ikat-ikat dah, and he was fine. So again, I respect the elders. They help me a lot in the journey of like nak jaga anak apa semua. But not everything dia cakap tu kita just kena ambil membuta tuli. We can ask, we can inquire and we can learn. And from there lah, Mira and I, my wife and I mula search and jumpa Dr. Putri. I think the first one that I saw of you is this old KinderKaizen video kat Facebook. Yang ada kamera gerak-gerak, like looking at all the like facilities dalam KinderKaizen. I feel like I want to be there, And then search more, and then we found out you ada seminar dekat Penang. Kita kena pergi kat situ. That's when we first saw you and learn about more of what you do. And you give a talk about all these things that you talk about. Too much too soon, right? Apa nama ayah, mak kena mendengar anak-anak sedang communicate dengan kita tu. From there, kita start realize yang we have to have something like this lah for our son. Nama KinderKaizen ke tidak is belakang cerita, but something like this. And end up, we couldn't find something like that. Even with other brands pun, we couldn't find it. So that's why, kali, kita je lah buka KinderKaizen. Menunggunya bila kan. But that was tough. It's not like orang kata like kenapa you nak susahkan diri kan. Ada tadika sebelah rumah je. Murah je bayar bulan-bulan. But we thought of something greater than that. And it's not about our convenience. It's about his childhood that we're dealing with here. So that's why kami sanggup lah. Walaupun not as harsh as your experience, Dr. Putri. I mean, you had to start it from scratch. We just kena continue the journey sahaja. Itu pun dah rasa dah
easy kan.
Ms Islah pun menyambungkan lagi the legacy. Orang pun dah rasa dah bahang dia kan. Orang kata, kerja apa? Cikgu naskah je. Kan? You have to deal with that pula kan. So this is a continuous like journey lah. Nak bagi tahu orang yang the simple idea of biarlah anak bermain. It's so simple kan. Biarlah anak bermain.
Betul.
Nabi pun dengan kanak-kanak dia orang bermain. Ada kanak-kanak yang menunggang Nabi macam kuda. Ada anak yang tarik tangan Nabi, Nabi ikut je pergi mana-mana. So
Betul.
we have that. It's not something yang new. It's something very, very old yang kita terlupa. And we just want to bring it back. That's
Yep.
all.
Itulah Aiman, kalau bercakap tentang tu kan, tentang Rasulullah sendirilah. Allah kata kenapa Rasulullah tu sebagai role model kita kan. Saya banyak mengkaji Rasulullah ni. When I was in the UK, I was looking for books to understand how was it like for Rasulullah, how was early childhood before, you know, zaman-zaman dulu. But it's so hard to find books. Kalau ada pun in Arabic. Yang ada yang very famous, I forgot the name tu. Tapi it's just like apa dia?
Child of a Prophet, Children Around Prophets, is it?
Bukan. Yang tu baru lagi tau. Yes.
Uluan,
Tarbiyatul
Tarbiyatul Aulad.
I think that one.
Right?
When I was in the UK, it was all
Uluan something. I can't
yes. When I was in the UK, it was still in Arabic. So susahnya lah nak korek ni kan. Okay, tak apa. Relax dulu. Kita dapat dulu, faham dulu, connect the dots with all the theories yang kita nampak, yang kita observe, yang kita baca, psychology, cognitive dan sebagainya. Okay. So as yang buku yang Children Around Prophets semua tu, itu baru. I'm so thankful that there's this writer yang menulis sebegitu. Itu pun dapatlah kita kupas sedikit dari sudut emosi tu, the emotional intelligence of Rasulullah, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, dapatlah that angle. And then kalau kita korek, kalau kita kaji, Rasulullah melalui proses yang bagaimana? Dulu-dulu ada tadika akademik ke yang suruh baca alif bata? Kan kalau saya kadang-kadang saya rasa macam sebersalah nak berkata begini sebab Aiman and the rest, kalau saya kata nanti orang kata saya nak perli ke apa, bukan pasal perli tidak perli, bukalah minda kita. Rasulullah tak ada pun duduk dalam satu tadika yang belajar alif tu apa, ba tu apa, bunyi dia apa, sambung ni nanti jadi ayat begini-begini, tidak. Allah menjadikan baginda seorang yang tak boleh membaca. Kenapa di situ begitu? Bukan nak kata kita ni tak payah membaca, tetapi ada prosesnya, dan proses ini yang kita susah betul nak terima sebab kita telah dididik dalam, kita telah duduk dalam satu proses sistem yang sangat result oriented tadi. Result oriented yang academic. Habis tadika nak kena ada satu test untuk tengok dia lepas ke tak lepas, you know, untuk masuk darjah 1.
Sekarang, doktor.
There's a lot of kan, ada macam-macam kan. But I'm so thankful researcher yang latest Dr. Anwar Ahmad lah sebut tentang tidak selari tu, yang mana dah lama dulu saya sebut tapi it wasn't picked up, but now Alhamdulillah after 10 years I'm seeing it being discussed again, which is very good. Syukur Alhamdulillah, kita fokus je kerja kita, insyaAllah perkara ni sedang dibincangkan. Very good. Okay, so berbalik pada tadi, saya nak sentuh tadi saya sebut pasal Rasulullah. Kalau kita kaji macam mana Rasulullah yang penuh dengan kasih sayang. Okay, tapi ibu dan bapa baginda telah diambil very early in his young life. And who took care of him? Yes, we know it's the datuk, but it's actually the nenek behind the scene. If you read and korek, it's actually the nenek yang continue dia kasih sayang. But way before that, Ibu Suswan, when he was with his Ibu Suswan, apa yang dia buat dekat padang? He was playing with kambing. You know, mengembala kambing dan sebagainya. He was playing. And when he was playing, you're talking about communication and language kan? Itu yang bila saya pula buat research on cognitive science of language processing. Beautifully, Masya Allah. Kalau Allah nak salurkan tu, cantik je jalan yang Allah bagi tu. And then bila saya nampak, wow, Rasulullah dah duduk kat situ, padang pasir whatever, kabilah-kabilah yang lalu-lalu tu, macam-macam language, macam-macam dialect. Beautiful. And how did he pick it up? Is it through textbook? No. Not like kita kat Malaysia semua nak jadikan buku. No, it's through hearing. It's kan. So it's through hearing and hearing and hearing. So you just keep on talking to them. That's the best method. So itulah sedikitlah tentang Rasulullah, sebab kalau nak cerita panjang lagi banyak masanya. Saya nak sambung sedikitlah Aiman, Islah and Feqa. Balik Malaysia 2012. I got 2 years gap before 2014. 2012 I was working as a lecturer. Masa tu memang saya nampak banyak kekurangan. Anak saya sendiri pergi tadika-tadika yang I don't want to name it. There's a few tadika that we went to. And of course they got so stressed out. You know, like kena label depan dia. Nanti cakap kat anak you tahu, dia 10 muka surat dia tak buat homework dia. And then anak ni pergi duduk belakang kaki ayah dia, peluk kuat-kuat. You know, I don't want to go to school. Got homework to do, menangis-nangis nak buat homework. And I'm like, no, you don't do this. You don't have to do this. So things like that lah. I've been exposed to it. So itulah bila kita nampak, dan saya dah start buat ceramah dan sebagainya, and then EF lah dia kata, Afzan, instead of you just talking and people don't see, why don't you just show it to them? You know, make something, do something, show it. Okay, let me just try and figure out something. Maka lahirlah KinderKaizen. Macam tu lah. Itu cerita sikit lah ya, tapi sebab anak-anak jugalah ya. Yalah, untuk anak-anak kita dan juga untuk anak semua yang lain yang melakukan perkara ini. Okay.
Yes. And also just to extend further kepada mereka yang in the center day in and day out, Islah dengan Feqa, you guys have staff members, play leaders and play carers yang pernah alami tadika biasa, correct? Don't want to name names, but dia pernah alami tadika biasa, and dia bila masuk KinderKaizen, what's some of the things yang dia orang selalu cakap kalau masuk KinderKaizen? Kalau yang ada pengalaman tadika biasa, what are some of the things yang dia orang selalu cakap? I want Feqa and Islah to tell the story because they're in the center. They're in the center. So I'm putting you in the spot because you have a microphone, so please use it.
Oh my god, okay.
One of them yang paling selalu ulang lah bila is how we communicate with children and how we see children. Dia macam, oh kat sini you guys cakap dekat eye level, cakap suara perlahan, tak serit. And then we treat them macam diorang capable. Macam contohlah, just simple task je pun. Angkat lepas makan, angkat, buang tong sampah. Dekat anak kan umur 3 years old pegang pun macam sini lagi, tumpah, tak marah pun. Macam, oh, biar je. Biar je. Itulah. So macam tu, okay, we're done. Can you put it in the sink? Okay, letak sink. Okay, tu panjat. Macam, we treat them like adults. Itulah. Dia macam, oh, you bagi banyak sangat peluang untuk anak ni cubalah. Yang tu yang diorang share, and sebab diorang compare. Sebelum ni semua benda diorang buat, and semua benda apa yang anak nak buat tu semua diorang kena control. Macam tu.
But now we we show the child how to do it themselves. And that's the idea kan, because we want them to build the independence through play. You know, even dia orang nak clean up pun ada element of play kan, nyanyi lagu, make it fun, kita berlumba-lumba siapa clean up dulu. And that enables them to have independence and autonomy kat situ.
Basically tak ada pressure lah bila bezanya dekat situ.
I think the part where communicating with child that you mentioned too, it's not that we treat them like adults. I think we treat them with respect.
Betul?
Kalau nak treat them as adult masalah juga kan. But we treat them with respect. I think over time, mungkin Dr. Putri boleh have more context on this. Just from my personal experience, I think with kids kan, kita dah lali dengan this idea that they can be just yelled at and just just move around ikut suka you duduk sini, you duduk sana, buat sini, buat itu, buat ini, and kita dah biasa dengan that. I mean, talk about our own kids lah kan, we dah terbiasa untuk fikir macam, oh, that's what they need, we need to toughen them up, right? We need to make sure that they can face the world yang tough ini. But end up, what we see when they grow as adults, they have childhood trauma, they have all this anxiety issue apa semua kan. Because I deal with adults, university and above kan. A lot of them, bila flashback balik kan, you can trace from childhood that they have these issues where they're not confident in themselves, have body image issue, nak kahwin tak confident, semua ni kan. So you can boleh trace and find out macam, oh, in childhood, ada this thing, that or the other. And not talking about something extreme like na'udzubillah sexual abuse ke apa ke, but something yang kita nampak macam biasa. You know, yelling to a child, smacking a child, right? And these things. And even in tadika pun, it is quite accepted. Like, again, not naming any tadika, but saya pernah lalu satu tadika ni dah dengar cikgu menjerit like really menjerit. And I thought, like tak siapa nak kata apa-apa ke, like nobody's taking action ke apa ke, like call the police ke apa ke, ada abuse is happening over here. Because we see it as normal lah tu, cikgu tu sedang mengajar. It's like,
That's
that
where it's
mengajar?
wrong.
Is that I'm sure
Kan?
Dr. Putri ada banyak lagi kisah-kisah macam tu, but this is
Allah,
just as a
banyak.
parent kan, you lalu-lalu, I mean, the outside is pretty, right? They have all the swings, the
Yeah.
beautiful paints, the nama cantik, Masya Allah, but you lalu,
Yeah.
cikgu tengah menjerit-jerit, which I
Yeah.
understand, you know, kita kan deal dengan anak-anak, they are very challenging, kan? And I cannot imagine lah yang ada tadika, ada 60 budak, 50 budak, how they deal with it. But even then, it's not a justification for that behavior. And then you
Exactly.
expect anak-anak kecil ni akan membesar to be somebody with proper akhlak, if that's the case, how they were brought up. Kan?
Kan? Betul. Itulah beza bila pergi luar negara ni. Memang saya sentiasa sayu hati. Saya lah yang sentiasa bergenang air mata tu. Bila cikgu cakap dengan anak kita, kita yang menangis. Because I didn't get that, you know. So when you said this tadi, you met with you jumpa orang adults lah yang meluahkan rasa, and bila you trace back, it's all childhood. Imagine Aiman, Islah, Feqa. The thing that motivated me to do this is also because I was in search of myself as well. My inner child
Absolutely.
was not okay. And I was trying to no, I have to voice this out on behalf of these children. If I don't do this, who's going to do this? If I tak bersuara, siapa nak suarakan? So saya lah tu. And in that journey, memang saya sendiri pun kena jumpa therapist because I was in search of, I was looking for why am I like this? Why? I wanted to save, you know, I wanted to bercita-cita sangat besar, sangat tinggi. Sampailah satu moment, the reality is this. My inner child gets better, you know. I still have this memory of cikgu menjerit kat saya. I was so little and small. Dulu halus je, kurus kering, memang tulang je kurus, darjah 1. Kita dongak tengok atas, cikgu tu jerit pandang kat kita. Aku tak kira kau puteri ke, kau apa ke. Dia marah bebek. And I'm like, what did I do? You know, that innocent child doesn't know what's going on. What? Sampai sekarang saya masih ingat that face, that situation. I'm like, what just happened?
How old
And
were
then,
you? Do you remember?
What? Darjah 1. Darjah 1.
7 years old. Wow.
7. And then when I was in the UK, bila tengok cikgu layan anak kita, I'm like, oh my God, this is something different, man. And I wanted to test on my children lah kan, kita pun mula bercakap dengan dia. Tapi way before that lah, Aiman, Feqa and Islah, way before that, sebelum berkahwin, when I was in university kan, I started doing multimedia for young children. I started to go to tadika, jumpa kanak-kanak, show them my software, whatever, and then interacting with them. Masa tu umur 18 saya dapat adik kecil, gap 18 tahun. Itu pun another factor yang membuatkan, 18 years gap, yang membuatkan saya ke arah early childhood. I really want to understand, how is it that he is able to speak so fluently at 8 months? You know, 8 months, makcik datang rumah ni, apa nenek ni duk sibuk-sibuk kat rumah Aman ni, he can do that at 8 months. Now I'm like, sibuk je kat rumah Aman. He was 8 months and he can speak so fluent because kita orang kakak abang ni duk melayan ni macam orang besar, you know. Okay, tadi katakan layan macam orang besar. Bercakap, sembang. Bersembang. So he got beautiful vocabularies. And dia adalah teman abah minum teh tarik. At 1 year old, teh tarik with my father. I'm like, wow, with our father. Wow, it's just a beautiful process. And I'm like, okay, processing that. And then when I went there, the way cikgu bercakap, how my children grab the languages. You know, at 3-ish, Farish doesn't want to eat. Biasalah picky eater at that age kan. And then this teacher kan, cikgu dia nama Rupa, Pakistan, Indian macam tu. And she told me the story. She was trying to pujuk Farish to eat. Farish, come on Farish, you've got to take a little bit. You know what Farish said at 3 years old-ish? He was like, okay, well, I'll eat just to make you happy. And then cikgu tu menangis. And then bila cikgu cerita,
Farish, my man.
Pengayat lah kan. 3 years old dah pandai mengayat, but no lah. Anyway, he got that from the teachers like it's beautifully taught lah orang kata. And then cikgu cerita balik, I'm like, wow. And he grew up dengan orang kata bahasa yang cantik, tiba-tiba boleh baca buku. And then comes Imran pula yang penuh dengan imagination. And you know how he is like today. You know, dia seorang anak yang very he started off with introvert, but now very sociable. Okay.
Yep.
Doing gitar dan sebagainya, but before that memang clingy baby, tapi dia tak nangis, dia cuma susah nak dekat orang. But his imagination level kan, kalau nak tidur, I think it should be around 15 minutes before tidur tu, dia akan bercerita seorang-seorang in his own language, bercerita seorang-seorang sampai 15 minit habis tidur dalam gelap seorang-seorang. So I'm like, okay, go to sleep. So itu nombor 2. Yang nombor 3 lain pula, dia very determined tu. So karakter berbeza kan, but how I do it, memang you have to take one step backward. Sebab kita tak nak yang kita dapat dulu tu kita salurkan kat dia. Tapi saya tak tipu Aiman, Islah, Feqa, kita akan terlepas juga sebab kita dah dapat dulu. It's in my subconscious mind, unconscious mind. Kita termelenting, kita terjerit, because that's what I got before. I couldn't control that, and this is one of the reasons why I want to see therapists. How do I take this away? I cannot rub it away because it's still imprinted. It's still there. Because plasticity of the brain kan, cap jari tu is still there, cap tu is still there. But how you control this? So ketenang kan, macam mana kita manage it? Awareness. It takes time, but can be done.
Ada orang tak mengaku yang aku tak trauma. Dulu aku okey je. Kena rotan, kena sebat. Ni okey je ni. Kena okey je. Every time I hear that, I'm like, okay, you okay, orang sebat anak tu. That doesn't sound okay. That you're okay with that.
Yeah. The statement itself doesn't sound
okay with that. It's not okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting kan bila orang kata macam tu, yang kita nampak dia pasal kita detect fear sebenarnya. Tapi the underlying fear tu dia tak keluar. Tapi in behavior wise kita boleh nampak sebenarnya. Bila kita korek, kita buka layer by layer kan, the fear yang dulu tu slowly coming out, and you felt the anxiety tau. Sampai kadang-kadang orang panggil macam, kita jadi, I had that, tipulah. Kita kena rasa dulu baru kita boleh bercerita dengan orang kan. Kita kena lalui dulu baru kita boleh share the experiences with others. I had that as well. Surat khabar kena gulung, mana ni nak sebat ni?
Sakit tu.
I had that. Cikgu rotan.
Majalah.
Majalah I kena surat khabar. Kan? Okay. So ada je benda ni. But kita kena ngaku. Baru kita boleh terima, accept, and baru kita boleh let go. Selagi kita tak ngaku benda tu berlaku dan affecting us, then how can we accept it and let it go? Sebab kita kena dalam proses tu memaafkan. And memaafkan ni bukan senang. It takes years and years and years. So orang yang melalui, orang yang tahu mental health, mental illnesses, dia akan faham proses-proses. Tapi yang menidakkan, denial as you said tadi tu, that one will take longer time lah.
Yep. And one thing I realised after like 5 years buka KinderKaizen dekat Arau kan, with all the staff members that I have from beginning until now, ada consistent pattern, Dr. Putri. I don't know if you notice, maybe you have lah, you ada lagi ramai staff kan. When we focus play on children, tu yang adults ni yang dapat terapi.
Exactly.
Betul tak?
Betul.
I remember dia cakap. Dia cakap, dah pergi kerja macam pergi
The children
terapi.
are fine, by the way. The children are totally fine. They're just playing, being kids, apa semua kan. And we get triggered because we realize macam, whether we didn't get that ataupun kita realize macam, kenapa like I don't feel like that when that happened. Reaksi aku lain pula, tak macam budak tu. We have this as adults lah kan, as play carers, play leaders. If you have a observant mindset lah kan, you start to realize through these kids your own inner child kan. I just want to give a space lah to Islah and Fika, because I know they talked about it a lot tau, bila tengok macam budak-budak ni and they start to reflect on themselves. Aku but they have processed a lot and I'm proud of them. So just want to give you guys space to talk about it a bit more.
Okay, so kalau inner child ni, I think the moment will be, of course, Froebel. Tak lari dah, doktor. My first unpacking of inner child secara conscious.
Oh, by the way, Froebel is a course. If you want to talk about it.
By Dr. Putri. Waktu tu Ms Najmi dah mula lead with Ms Hans. And Alhamdulillah, waktu nak pergi tu pun, waktu I started KinderKaizen, I remembered, I was always in doubt. Betul ke apa aku buat dengan anak ni? Macam ni ke cara dia? There's something wrong. There's something tak kena. Kenapa I'm so sad? Why I'm suddenly so angry kan? So macam cakap pada Iman, I need to go for training. I want to do something with myself.
Yes.
And of course, Brother Evan had always been that safe space for me pun. Cuma yang I understand lepas belajar KinderKaizen model, unique child, bonding, trust, enabling environment, mind je pun ada dalam kepala macam, I think what I love about KinderKaizen earlier on ialah the fact that we can love a child openly. Kita boleh express that love and you feel anak tu reciprocate the energy, and this is how accepting children can be. They just love you so openly, the innocence, Walaupun dia left me hanging so many times kan. Betul, jom main dengan saya kan. Kenapa kan?
Tak settle lagi kan? Anak dah move on.
But then pergi Froebel tu betul, doktor. I think one of the activity I think what I really wanted is waktu tu I remembered I wanted to really understand about myself and how am I when I'm in front of a child. Apa yang anak tu nampak? And the first thing I remembered lah kan, because before we understood about energy type kan, there's different types of energy and there's child type. Dan kita ada dominant energy. So I remember one of the child, waktu dia 7 years old, dia masuk KinderKaizen, dia dah nak masuk ke sekolah dah. And then dia cakap, she looked at me in the eye and she said, Ms Islah, are you mad at me? And I'm like, oh, why do you think I'm mad at you? Kan, kita boleh dah senyum balik macam daripada muka, tak tahu lah muka asal dia macam mana. But then I said, what made you think I'm mad at you? Cakap, because your eyebrow, dia ke tengah and nampak macam and macam tengah marah. And
Betul.
this is where I bring her to the mirror yang kita ada waktu tu. Okay, I'm gonna do that face and you're gonna tell me when I look angry. So dia pun cakap, when you do like this, macam tu. Cakap, oh, what do you feel when I do that face? Cakap, I feel scared. I feel scared. And waktu tu I'm like, I scared a child unintentionally kan. Dan waktu tu I like, waktu tu I banyak serious kot, muka banyak berfikir and tengok anak selalu risau. And I'm somehow paranoid. In the early childhood setting, I'm the paranoid type. Jatuh nanti mak ayah dia cakap apa, aku boleh buat kerja ni ke tak, all those things. So bila pergi dekat Froebel tu, we do all these activities yang macam memang unpacking certain layers of me. And waktu tu I sedar yang macam I am that child. Yang macam that child screaming at me, telling something and I'm not listening. So I start tapping and let her be seen. And by doing that, slowly I can understand myself better. And bila I come, kita jumpa anak, kita dapat bezakan, is this me? Is this coming from me? Or is this coming from the child? So in that process dia cantik, because guess what? Anak lah yang sentiasa meredakan je. Meredakan kerisauan, keberatan tu anak akan datang. Contohnya, I remember this, one parent shared with me, Miss, you know what? My child come back home, dia cakap macam ni. She was angry at that time. Masa dia pergi dekat mama dia lah, dia panggil mama. Dia cakap, Mama, I'm not mad at you tau. Dia cakap dekat mak dia, I'm not mad at you. I just need some time. Lepas tu mama dia datang come to me and tell me, Ms Islah, can you really tell me what's this about? And mak dia impressed lah, macam anak dia boleh cakap macam tu. And then rupanya before that, on 2020, just a big disclaimer, I was such a cry baby lah on 2020. Sikit-sikit nangis. Semua nangis. Anak Anak cakap sikit nangis, something yang happy pun nangis, semua nangis lah. So bila ada masalah tu, I remember lepas this one child reminded me, my facial gesture, just my emotion sometimes, they can really read it and feel it and dia macam react towards it kan. So kita pun datang dan confirm lah. Contohnya I will tell a child datang nak main dengan I, but I couldn't say a word. And I would just tell her, I am feeling angry right now, but I'm not mad at you. I just need this to feel angry right now and really tell myself it's okay to feel angry. Macam sekarang, I'm not going to shout at you, but I just cannot talk to you yet. I'll come to you when I can. And after a while, anak tu datang sendiri and they check on me and then like, oh, so sweet. And this waktu dia 4 tahun tau, 4, 5 macam tu. When she's 6 or 7, right now dia dah graduate dah pun. 6 or 7, what I realised is that first batch of KinderKaizen, they read me very well.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know me very well. Dia kenal dan dia akan cakap. Dia akan datang, dia akan check on me and usually what I think most beautiful thing ialah kita tak paksa anak cakap sorry or thank you. We don't do that, and the beautiful part is so worth it bila diorang sendiri datang dan cakap because they really want to say it to you. For example, the hari tu they did something yang macam they know it's not supposed to be at the area lah, and then when they did that, I didn't say anything. I just remove myself from that area and I just do something else. Lepas tu suddenly petang tu datang and said, Miss, I want to say sorry. I said, oh, for what? For what I did this morning. And I asked her, what about it? Cakap, oh, because I play too loud and disturb my friend, disturb you, and you are trying to focus. So I cakap, wow, just the fact that you say sorry, I want to say thank you back. Thank you for saying sorry and proving to me that kita tak perlu paksa anak untuk belajar certain things or say certain things, but if you role model it enough, if you do it enough and you mean it every time you do it, it will show. Tu dah betul lah ayat Abang Iman tu. The children will tell. They will show you if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. You just have to pay attention, be observant and open. Be open to the possibility that you might be wrong. Things can just not be as you imagine it to be. And that's where listening to a child really speaks to me. Dr. Putri puja. Proses dia tu betul lah doktor. Kalau benda convince me, the brain science. Of course. Cantik doktor. And maybe I have a question je tiba-tiba dah. I have a question to doctor.
Tadi Q&A je. This is a podcast.
I
Ada
guess
ceramah.
juga.
Oh, no.
Doktor cakap pasal
Just kidding. Go ahead.
pasal yang tadi your kindergarten teacher for Parish ke? Yang dia retell story kan, but before you really believe in play, like you really macam percaya, oh it works, this can work. Can you like share with us how's the process in earning that trust, in for you to see, oh this can happen, learning can happen through play dekat UK contohnya.
Okay. In my case, it's not about trusting play. I memang dah trust play because I was a very playful child. I was a very, very playful child tapi jenis main seorang sebab adik-adik kecil lagi. I'm full of imagination. I suka berangan. That's me lah. Atas beranda depan rumah tu, I can dance on it. I can perform. Memang kuat imagination tu lah. Dia suka bermain. That's just me. So when in the school, I play. Kalau kata akademik ni, nombor belakang-belakang. Okay? No, seriously. Pernahlah merasa dapat nombor 3, dapatlah. Tapi macam for me, it means nothing. I enjoyed more doing performances at the end of the year tu kan. Persembahan akhir tahun, menari lah. I just love that. So as I grow up, and I struggle in university to study actually because I'm not an academic person. Itu kata kadang-kadang terkejut, boleh pula buat PhD aku ni. Sometimes I seriously, and what inspires me to do PhD is actually, masa tu saya dekat UK, Manchester, saya hantar Farish kat rumah seorang kakak ni yang memang dah PR. Farish 3 jam saya kerja, 3 jam dia tak minum susu, dia tunggu saya balik. Masa tu dia 4 bulan, dia akan tunggu saya dapat je dalam kereta terus menyusu. Lapar sangat lah ni, dia memang tak akan menyusu from botol. Tapi saya kerja data entry with all these kakak-kakak yang buat PhD kat Manchester. And I was so inspired by them. Sebab dia orang ni gigih. Wanita, abang-abang pun ada juga, abang-abang, kakak-kakak yang bekerja sama kita orang Malaysia ni, NHS, data entry. So key in data dan sebagainya lah. So very interesting. So inspired by them that I tried. Masa tu memang sendiri. And then husband dapat yang working permit. So we stayed sekejap. And then for 2 years tu, and then cuba dapatkan scholarship. Ya Allah, saya pergi merata nak dapatkan scholarship daripada UK. Liverpool, Johns Moore tu pun saya pergi. Hampir-hampir dapat. I was number 3 ke number 4, tapi dia ambil the top 3 and kebetulan dia nak local je semua. Alamak, terlepaslah. Saya nombor 4 masa tu tak dapat lah. Tak apa, kita try lagi. Saya pergi Birmingham nak buat master in psychology, sebab nak buat PhD terus tak boleh. I don't have any basic. So I went for the interview master in psychology tapi tak dapat scholarship juga. It's not easy lah kita orang luar kan. So masa tu dah packing, dah hantar balik barang, tiba-tiba dapat mail dalam junk mail offering scholarship. And I'm like, oh my god, nasib baik tak didik. Itu rezeki orang
Check
kata.
the spam folder, please.
Kan, always check. And then kan, dapat tu, masa tu memang dah apply universiti, tak ada scholarship je lagi. Dapat tu terus shoot ke Sussex. That was the story. So cakap pasal place, saya tak pernah doubt. I was always seeking and searching for how best do we do learning? How best do we learn something? Because it must be something else, because I couldn't take the memorizing part. I couldn't do it at all. When I was in UTP, I was struggling with it. What makes me survive are courses like multimedia where I can design. Itu je, benda-benda yang I can do hands on. So kalau saya teringat lagi apa yang saya belajar tu pasal komputer. So I ingat like FIFO, first in first out. So hafal lah benda tu, tapi it's not just hafal macam tu je. Dia kena faham the concept behind it. That's where I developed the understanding of nak explaining conceptual things. So when you get models and you understand like how does this model work? So try to understand that. Tu yang bila buat cognitive science, brain models. How does the brain work? I was looking to understand how does the brain works when a letter goes in it. Kat mana dia pergi? Bila you nampak you nampak huruf A. Apa dia buat kat dalam ni? Dia pergi mana dulu? Sebab dia masuk ikut mata kan? Masuk ikut mata, daripada mata dia pergi mana? Dia interpret macam mana? Itu yang saya faham kenapa dyslexia berlaku. Macam mana dyscalculia berlaku, and dyspraxia dan sebagainya. So bila dia masuk, dia ada satu nama dia, adalah a few names kat dalam ni, dia akan interpret, dia akan send signal. Itu yang saya faham, speech delay. This is how it happens. And kat mana point-point juncture, orang kata apa, junction-junction yang menyebabkan budak-budak tu akan delay lagi. That's why saya faham kenapa gadget mengganggu. Tapi to put it in layman word, it's not easy.
True.
Kan, it's not easy to explain to people.
Next
But then
series. Ada.
so,
Ada. We do have that one. Tunggu.
Okay, cool.
Yes, doctor.
So itulah, ceritanya panjang, banyak. Nantilah kalau you all ada soalan lagi saya jawab. Tapi saya tak pernah ragu-ragu tentang play. I was looking for a method that would fit everybody, that would be able to respect all children. Sebab kalau masa tu saya struggle dengan exam kan, kenapa kawan-kawan saya bagai nak rak study kat library, kenapa saya tak boleh nak paksa diri saya? I cannot. Why are they making so many notes? I can't. Why? Am I kinesthetic? Am I this? Am I that? Nak menerima tu kan? Nak menerima proses saya macam I just have to find way. Memang saya menyendiri, saya cuba belajar sendiri, my own style. Saya cuba, markah tu dapat yang tinggi-tinggi tu untuk benda-benda hands on supaya at least exam tu 30% ke 40% tu dapatlah saya save sikit, to aim certain thing. So I had to survive that way. So itu antaranya lah kenapa saya memang mencari, dan bila saya dapat play, saya ingat balik tadika saya dulu memang saya bermain habis-habisan. Sekolah rendah saya memang bermain. Masuk sekolah menengah saya takut. The fear-based learning starts when masuk. Dia campur dengan kita membina personality diri. So saya jadi very timid, very penakut, low self-esteem until saya buat multi-level marketing, keluar balik diri saya. Itu cerita panjang lah nantilah.
Okay. So fun. Allah Akbar. So we passed our 1 hour mark, and I think it's nice that we can wrap things up for our first episode of the podcast. We have more, like I said in the beginning, kita dah ada 12 topik all set for 2024. Inshallah, we'll have Dr. Putri again if she is willing. And
InsyaAllah.
inshallah, it will be an exploration of multiple topics. One of them dah ada hint tadi tu pasal gadget, ada. And all these episode will be available in YouTube channel kita dan juga dalam podcast channel kita di Spotify. Nanti kita akan share link dia nanti. Alright, thank you so much for everyone involved. Kita akan buat lagi macam ni because it's fun. Tapi dah malam dah mengantuk. May end this year. Okay, so thank you very much. And kalau you guys want to follow us, let me just give the Instagram page for each one. So we have from Dr. Putri, you can follow her, My Putri Afzan Maria, Instagram. Me, I'm Azan 90. Please, I need to reach 200,000. Ms Feqa, Miss Tiny Thoughts, and also Ms Islah, Miss Messy Hands. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. See you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Assalamualaikum. Small talk out.
Bye.
Thank you.